Welcome to High School Quiz Show Maine. We have one slot left in the semifinals. Who will move one step closer to the $1,000 prize? In this quarterfinal match, it's the Eagles of Windham High School. Taking on the Crusaders of John Bapst Memorial High School. That's coming up next on High School Quiz Show Maine.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by Energy is about more than just keeping the lights on. It's about living life. As parents, friends, and teammates, Unitil is proud to support High School Quiz Show Maine. Unitil, more than a utility, part of your community.
Home renovations can increase the value of your home. Safety Insurance offers a variety of home insurance products to cover your home's increased value. You can ask an independent agent about Safety Insurance. Safety Insurance will help you manage life's storms.
And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to High School Quiz Show Maine. I'm Todd Gutner. We're getting closer to crowning this year's champion. There's just one spot left in the semifinals, and both of today's teams hope to claim it. Let's get things going by meeting our players. For Windham, we have Mason, Caitlin, Will, and Chessie, with alternates Delia and Nick, and coached by John Ziegler. For John Bapst, we have Declan, Spring, Albert, and Summer, with alternates Marie and Ruby, and they're coached by Jacob Mattis. The competition has 3 rounds: the toss-up round, the category round, and the lightning round. We'll start with the toss-up round. All answers are worth 10 points, and this is the only round with no point deductions for wrong answers. Players must wait for me to complete the question, and if one team answers incorrectly, the other team will be given a chance to answer it correctly. All right, Windham, John Bapst, we ready to roll? Oh, yeah. All right, good luck to both teams. Here's our first question, round 1. President Theodore Roosevelt claimed that his foreign policy strategy was to speak softly and carry what? Chessie, Windham.
A big stick.
A big stick is right. It's almost like you were anticipating that question. What is the name for the biological process in which plants convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen? Mason, Windham.
Photosynthesis.
That's right, photosynthesis. In which card-based role-playing game does a player take the role of a planeswalker, a powerful mage who can transit across the infinite worlds of the multiverse? Caitlin?
Magic the Gathering.
You got it. Here's our next question. In a leap year, an extra day is added to the end of which month? Spring, John Bapst.
February.
That's right, February. Up next, we have a picture question, so please take a look at the monitor right over here. And the question is, name this South American city where the iconic statue of Christ the Redeemer, named one of the 7 wonders of the modern world in 2007, is located. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, it's Rio. Next question. The Great Famine that occurred in Ireland between 1845 and 1852 was due mainly to a blight that affected what food crop? Let's see. It's Summer on the end.
Potatoes.
Potatoes is right. An element's atomic number is determined by the number of what particles in its nucleus? Go ahead, Summer again.
Protons.
Protons is the right answer. Recognizable by the bony plates on its back and the spikes on its tail, which dinosaur has a name that means roof lizard? Albert, John Bapst.
Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus, right. Okay, up next we have a video question, so please take a look at the monitor again.
Hello, my name is Joshua Chard and I am the 2024 Maine Teacher of the Year. And today's video question category is History and Politics. Who was the primary author of the Communist Manifesto, a foundational text in political theory published in 1848?
Spring.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx is the right answer. The first building to house the United States Mint opened in 1792. In which city that was also the nation's capital at the time? Go ahead, Mason.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is the right answer. Two psychologists at Cornell University described a cognitive bias in which people of limited knowledge vastly overestimate their proficiency in a given subject area. By what name is this effect known? Albert.
Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah, you nailed it. All right, here's a math question. You have a paper there, you got a pencil there too. Here is the question. In the equation x over 3 equals 16, what is the value of x? Caitlin?
48.
48 is the right answer. We move on. Author William Gibson is closely identified with what fiction genre that imagines Victorian-era versions of modern technology? Go ahead, Spring.
Steampunk?
Yeah, steampunk. Next question. What title that means great house is used for ancient Egyptian rulers such as Amenhotep the Magnificent and Ramses the Great? Chessie?
Pharaoh?
Pharaoh is right. What sport that is not basketball, but is played by both men and women at the Olympics, was invented by William Morgan in a Holyoke, Massachusetts gymnasium in 1895? Go ahead, Declan.
Volleyball.
Volleyball. Leaked to the press by Daniel Ellsberg in 1971, the secret government report on the history of U.S. decision-making in Vietnam from 1945 to 1968 is more commonly known by what two-word alternative name? It's Declan.
Pentagon Papers.
Pentagon Papers is right. A person is most likely to use a CPAP machine when they're doing which of these things? Cooking, sleeping, or working in a chemistry lab? Chessie?
Sleeping.
Sleeping is right. Bennington College in Vermont owns the house where what New England poet wrote "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening"? Caitlin?
Robert Frost.
Robert Frost is the correct answer. The Gulf of Suez, the Gulf of Aqaba, and the Sinai Peninsula are located on the northern end of what sea in the Middle East? Declan?
The Red Sea.
The Red Sea is correct. Another math question here, the second and last one of our first round. What shape is described by the graph of the reciprocal function y equals 1 over x? Chessie?
Hyperbola?
Yeah, hyperbola. Nice job. Next question. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are named for Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, and which other Italian painter and sculptor who was born before the other four in real life? Caitlin, Windham.
Donatello.
Yeah, Donatello. Notably found in certain types of acid, what is the name for the chemical group with the formula COOH? Go ahead, Chessie.
Carboxyl?
Yes, carboxyl. Nice job. Wow, yeah, that deserves a high five. Which Titan from Greek mythology was punished for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to humanity? Albert? John Bapst?
Prometheus.
Prometheus is correct. A Gun Violence Prevention Act that went into effect in 1993 is named for what presidential press secretary who was critically wounded during an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan? Declan.
Brady.
Brady is correct. The adjective catabolic refers to an activity that releases energy and breaks down complex molecules into simple ones. What similar sounding adjective refers to the opposite sort of activity that consumes energy and builds complex molecules from simple ones? Albert, John Bapst.
Anabolic.
Anabolic is the right answer. Although it was first offered at a restaurant in New York City, not in Italy, a pasta dish made with spring vegetables like asparagus, peas, and spring onions has what name that comes from the Italian word for spring? Summer, John Bapst.
Primavera.
Primavera, yes. In the case of Bush v. Gore, the dispute over the 2000 U.S. presidential election results ended when the Supreme Court refused to allow a recount of votes in what state? Declan.
Florida.
Florida's the right answer. At what naval battle in 31 BCE did the forces of Octavian defeat the forces of Mark Antony and Cleopatra? Go ahead, Will.
Actium.
Yes. From the French for broken shells, what elaborate art and design style arose in a late Baroque period during the reign of Louis XV?
Rococo.
You gotta buzz.
Rococo.
And the answer is correct. Nice job, Summer. And that's the end of our first round. We've got a score. John Bapst 160, but this one's super tight. Windham's 130. Great game underway. Don't go anywhere. We'll meet the players when we get back.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by
The Maine Education Association does a fantastic job of giving us a voice. So what do you think?
Good manners.
To help teachers and students realize that people support them every day.
The MEA helps me be better at my job.
and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Before we head to the category round, we like to pause and get to know our players with a slightly silly question. The question is, you are a time traveler, but you are only allowed to go back in time to visit a celebrity and give them one piece of career advice. Who would that be and why? And we'll begin with Windham and Mason. Who do you think?
I would say George Lucas, and I would say make Jar Jar a Sith Lord.
Jar Jar a Sith Lord?
Yes.
Now, I'm not really that well versed in the whole Star Wars thing. Would that mess things up? Would that create chaos or anything?
Make it better, honestly.
You think it would make it better? It sounds like everybody's on board with that decision there,
Who
Mason.
wouldn't be on board?
Caitlin, your turn.
I would go back and tell Matt Damon to just take Avatar and forget about Bourne.
Come on, really?
Yeah. You know,
Bourne
it's the
Supremacy-
more profitable movie.
Well, of course, he would have
Yeah.
made more money,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't have looked so studly and everything, right?
I think you could look studly in Avatar.
Maybe you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Green screen.
A green screen, true. Good point, Will. And now it's your turn, Will.
Oh, it's me.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Think 73 Marlon Brando and just tell him to just take the Oscar.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Did
like,
he-
or at least just go up on stage and say, I don't want it.
Or yeah, just give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's too good for it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Marlon Brando, like,
Right.
I don't need it, man. Just chucks it into the crowd and just walks off the stage.
That would be a statement, right? Chessie, wrap up your team.
I would go back in time to tell Rosalind Franklin to wear clothing that will protect her from radiation. So hopefully she wouldn't die and might actually get the Nobel Prize she deserves.
Oh, okay. So you're a big fan.
Very much so.
Okay, she's one of your biggest.
Her and Jennifer Doudna are pretty cool.
Who's I don't know that. Who's that?
Jennifer Doudna was pretty much the one who invented CRISPR, which is like the gene editing tool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of CRISPR. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's about all I know about CRISPR is that I've heard of it. We're going to go down the line to John Bapst. Declan, you're up.
I don't know, maybe just go back in time to tell ABBA to please make even more music.
Oh, yes. Yes. One of the greatest, right?
Yes.
Of all time. Go ahead, Spring. Your turn.
Well, I would have to advise John Lennon to not let Yoko Ono sit in on the studio sessions because, I mean, a lot of people think that expedited the Beatles breakup. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I could have had a
And
couple
who
more
knows?
years.
Maybe it would have altered his day that day.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the Beatles would, still be a thing, perhaps.
History would have been changed forever.
Forever. I'm with you there, Spring. Albert, go ahead.
I think I'd have to tell Kanye to get off social media.
Get off the bird, right?
Yeah.
You get off of X, whatever it's called
like
now.
any of those.
Yeah, that's probably good career advice. But I don't think he'll take it.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
he'll
true.
take it,
Yeah, he's
Albert.
pretty stubborn.
He is very stubborn. Summer, wrap up John Bapst for us.
I would tell Winona Ryder to quit shoplifting.
Did that essentially ruin her?
Yep.
It set her down a bad path.
And
didn't
I
it?
really like her as an actress, so
Yeah, same.
it would be nice to see her in some more movies in
Yeah.
between.
Right, that's
Strain.
bad
Yeah.
phase of life. I agree. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, both teams. The category round is next, but let's see how well you do with our viewer question of the week.
Hi, I'm Paul Riley from Safety Insurance, and this is your viewer question of the week. Maine's first recorded meteorite fall occurred on August 7, 1823. The object landed near a Mr. Dinsmore and startled a nearby flock of sheep. In what town did the meteorite land? Was it Castine, Searsmont, Nobleboro, or Andover? We'll have the answer coming up later in the show.
Next up is the category round with the following choices. Just the two of us. You're the inspiration. Come sail away. Africa. It keeps you running. And hold the line. Questions have increasing point values and wrong answers will cost you. Each team will alternate control of two categories With each question, they can choose to answer it and either gain or lose points. They can skip it and neither gain nor lose points. Or once per category, they can toss it to the other team and force them to answer. Now, players will have about 5 seconds to confer and decide what to do. Our trailing team is Windham. Caitlin, what would you like to do with your first category?
Ooh, I am unsure.
We have a Mason
you should be sure.
if we want to go for Africa.
All right, 5 seconds are about up, Caitlin.
Okay, I'm going
Pick
for
one.
You're the Inspiration.
There it is. You're the inspiration. These are questions about inspirations for operas.
Oh.
Sorry. Oh, boy. Here we go. Star Trek was the inspiration for a 2010 opera called Ooh, which is written in what language spoken by Worf and by Emperor Kahless, the unforgettable in the Star Trek franchise?
Klingon.
Okay, Klingon is right. That's for 10. You're the inspiration for 15. Offred, the commander, and Serena Joy are roles in an opera based on what 1985 novel by Margaret Atwood?
The Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale is right. You're the inspiration for 20. An opera called Dr. Atomic tells the story of which American physicist who led the Manhattan Project and supervised the development of the atomic bomb at Los Alamos, New Mexico in the 1940s.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, also right. You guys are flying through this category. You're the inspiration for 25. A 2-act opera that premiered in 2010 was inspired by the life and work of which 17th century astronomer who is best known for his 3 laws of planetary motion?
Galileo.
No, wait. Is it Kepler or Galileo?
I think it's.
Caitlin, what would you like to do here?
We're going to skip it.
You want to skip it? It's Kepler. Mason got it. Would have had it. He would have had it. You're the inspiration for 30, the last one. An opera called Nagano was inspired by Jaromir Jagr and Dominik Hasek, and the ice hockey team from which country that won a gold medal at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan?
I don't know the Olympics.
We're going to toss it.
You want to toss it? Okay, we'll go over to John Bapst. I'll reread the question for you. The category is You're the Inspiration. An opera called Nagano was inspired by Jaromir Jagr and Dominik Hasek, and the ice hockey team from which country that won a gold medal at the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan?
It sounds like Nordic or something.
Yeah, it does.
Is it Denmark or like Sweden?
I would guess Norway, but I don't really know.
Maybe might as well.
What do you think, Declan?
Norway?
Norway's incorrect. It's the Czech Republic. That wraps up that first category for Windham. We're over to John Bapst now. Declan, what's your first category going to be?
Hold the line.
Hold the line. Okay, these are going to be questions about famous lines from literature. Here's the first question. Which novel by Ray Bradbury opens with the line, "It was a pleasure to burn"?
Fahrenheit 451.
Yep, you got it. Hold the line for 15. Lock up your libraries if you like, but there is no gate, no lock, no bolt that you can set upon the freedom of my mind, is a quote from A Room of One's Own by which 20th century English author?
I have no idea. I would skip it.
Declan, what would you like to do?
Skip.
You want to skip? It's Virginia Woolf. Hold the line for 20. In Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Catherine says, "Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same." Which character is she talking about?
Heathcliff.
That's correct. Hold the line for 25. Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful is a line spoken by which character in the 1818 novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley? What do you think, Declan?
Skip.
Skip. The answer is the monster. Hold the line for 30, the last one. And yes, I said, yes, I will, yes, are the last 8 words of the more than 265,000 words in what novel by James Joyce that begins at 8 a.m. on June 16, 1904?
I don't think so. Yeah, I guess so.
Declan?
Toss.
You want to toss? Okay, we're going to send it back to Windham. Here's the question again, Windham. And yes, I said, yes, I will, yes, are the last 8 words of the more than 265,000 words in what novel by James Joyce that begins at 8 a.m. on June 16, 1904?
Ulysses.
You nailed it. Ulysses is correct. And that wraps up Hold the Line. We are back to you, Windham, for your second category. What would you like?
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. These are questions about famous duos.
All right.
Here we go. Which 2 Disney animated characters, who also happen to be brothers, run a detective agency called Rescue Rangers?
Oh, Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale is right. Just the two of us, 15. Often heard at sporting events, Seven Nation Army is a 2003 song by what band whose members' first names are Jack and Meg?
The White Stripes.
Yeah, the White Stripes. Just the two of us, 20. Created by British animator Nick Park, what claymation man and dog duo have starred in films such as A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and Curse of the Were Rabbit?
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit is correct. Just the two of us for 25. Known for the singles Closer to Fine, Power of Two, and Galileo, Amy Ray and Emily Sailors are singers, songwriters of what folk rock duo who have performed together since the 1980s?
Skip it. Skip it.
Skip it. It's Indigo Girls. So good. Just the two of us for 30, the final one. Stanley and Oliver are the first names of what comedy duo who began making films as a team back in 1927 and are recognizable by the bowler hats they usually wore?
I'd say toss.
Toss.
Okay, we're going to toss it over to John Bapst. Here comes the question again. Stanley and Oliver are the first names of what comedy duo who began making films as a team back in 1927 and are recognizable by the bowler hats that they usually wore?
Is it Warner Brothers? I guess. I don't know. Is it Warner Brothers? Like the Chaplin brothers or something?
Why is he saying Marx Brothers?
I think there's 5.
What do you think, Declan?
It might as well. I don't know.
Warner Brothers?
That's incorrect. It's Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy. That wraps up Just the Two of Us. John Bapst, it's your turn again.
Yeah, I don't know. Might as well.
It keeps you running.
It keeps you running. These are questions about forms of energy. In environmental science, what term is used for organic matter, such as firewood, agriculture waste, or manure, that can be used to produce energy?
Biomass.
That's right, biomass. It keeps you running, 15. What is the name for the device in an electrical system that uses electromagnetic induction to convert the input voltage of an electrical current to a different output voltage without changing its frequency? Declan?
Skip.
Transformer. Transformer. It was on the tip of your tongue. I know
Yeah.
it. It keeps you running for 20. The North Antelope Rochelle Mine in Wyoming is the largest producer of which fossil fuel in the United States?
Coal.
Coal is right. It keeps you running for 25. A skateboarder at the top of a half pipe has what type of energy that is defined as stored energy based on their mass and position relative to other objects?
Potential.
Potential is the correct answer. It keeps you running for 30, the last one. In 2016, 2 Swiss pilots completed a historic round-the-world flight in an aircraft that did not burn fuel, but instead was powered by what form of renewable energy?
Solar power.
Solar power is the correct answer, and that wraps up our category round. We have a score. Ooh, this one's tight. Windham 250, John Bapst 215. Everything can change in the lightning round, probably will too, so sit tight. We'll be right back.
How did you do with the question of the week? It was, Maine's first recorded meteorite fall occurred on August 7, 1823. The object landed near a Mr. Dinsmore and startled a nearby flock of sheep. In what town did the meteorite land? Was it Castine, Searsmont, Nobleboro, or Andover? The answer is Nobleboro. Maine has 6 officially recorded meteorite strikes, with the most recent being in eastern Maine in 2023.
Okay, we're heading into the final 90 seconds of gameplay, the lightning round. Players, you do not have to wait for me to finish the question. You can buzz in anytime, but do not answer until I call your name. You get 20 points for each correct answer. An incorrect answer, though, will cost you 20 points, and the other team will not get a chance to answer that question. The clock is set. Good luck, both teams. Here we go with the first question. Which amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects freedom of speech? Declan.
The first.
The first is correct. According to the old nursery rhyme, the three little kittens, they lost their summer?
Mittens.
Mittens is right. What type of triangle has three sides, all of different lengths? Caitlin, Windham.
Isosceles?
That's incorrect. Scalene. Apollo 11 astronaut Edwin Aldrin Jr. is best known by what nickname? Go ahead, Caitlin.
Buzz?
Buzz is right. On the human body, the outermost layer of skin is called what? Declan?
Epidermis.
Epidermis, yes. What mountain range passes through 7 countries in South America? Declan?
Andes.
Andes is right. Bollywood is a nickname for the film industry. Caitlin?
India.
India, yes. All carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and which other element? Spring.
Oxygen.
Oxygen, yep. New International and King James are commonly used versions of Chessie?
The Bible?
The Bible is right. Alabama, Iowa, and most of Texas are in which North American time zone? Declan.
Plains.
Incorrect. Central. Paisley Park was the Minnesota home and recording studio of what musician? Declan.
Bob Dylan.
Incorrect. Prince. Cape Horn is at the southern end of which continent? Declan.
Africa.
South America. Incorrect. In computer science, a byte is a group of how many bits? Declan.
8.
8 is correct. Let's see, we have a final score of, our winner is Windham, 290. That score is 290 points for Windham. And our runner-up, John Bapst, with 275. It was so close. You guys both played great. Congratulations to both teams. Be sure to tune in next time for our first semifinal match. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on High School Quiz Show Maine.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by Energy is about more than just keeping the lights on. It's about living life. As parents, friends, and teammates, Unitil is proud to support High School Quiz Show Maine. Unitil, more than a utility, part of your community.
People who can work from home seem to love it. Who else loves it? Cybercriminals. Cyber coverage from Safety Insurance covers data and system restoration, data recreation, and more. You can ask an independent agent about Safety Insurance. We'll help you manage life's storms.
And by viewers like you. Thank you.